You wake up in the morning and before your feet even hit the floor, you already feel tired. Not, I stayed up too late, tired. Not, I didn't sleep well, tired. This is a heavier kind of tired. The kind that sits behind your eyes. The kind that makes the day feel long before it even starts. So you do what everyone does. You reach for coffee, you blame stress. You tell yourself, this is just adulthood. And then you move on. That right there is how diabetes quietly sneaks into people's lives. Because the earliest symptoms of diabetes don't feel scary. They don't feel medical. They don't feel urgent. They feel normal. And that's the unfair part. Most people think diabetes shows up suddenly. Big warning signs, dramatic symptoms, something impossible to miss. But that's not how it works. It starts small. It starts quietly. It starts with things people ignore every single day. And by the time the symptoms feel serious, the body has been struggling for a long time. That's why this video matters. Not to scare you, not to label you, but to help you hear signals most people were never taught to listen for. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. The symptoms people panic over at the end are usually easier to deal with than the symptoms people ignore at the beginning. Now let me ask you something. And don't answer out loud yet. What if the problem isn't that people don't care about their health, but that the body speaks a language no one taught them how to understand? That's where things get interesting. Over years of watching real people, friends, family, clients, everyday humans, I noticed a strange pattern. The people who were eventually told, you have diabetes, almost never missed one big sign. They missed many small ones. Tiny things that felt harmless on their own. Easy to explain away. Easy to joke about. So instead of giving you a scary checklist, I want to give you one simple mental model that makes all of this make sense. Think of your body like a house with smoke alarms. Early diabetes symptoms are not the fire. They're the alarm chirping quietly at 2 in the morning. Annoying. Easy to ignore. Easy to silence. Most people don't jump up and check for smoke. They just pull the battery out and go back to sleep. And modern health advice accidentally encourages this. We're told to wait until numbers are high, until there's a diagnosis, until something is officially wrong. But your body doesn't work like a spreadsheet. It whispers first, then it repeats itself, then it compensates, and only at the very end it breaks. And here's the part that matters most. That's not your fault. You were taught that symptoms only matter when they're loud. That if you're functioning, you're fine. That feeling little off is just life. So let's talk about the alarms people ignore first. One of the earliest and most common is unusual tiredness, especially after eating. You eat lunch and suddenly your brain shuts down. Your body feels heavy. Your focus disappears. Your energy drops like someone pulled the plug. Most people say, carbs do that to me, or I just need stronger coffee. But what's really happening is your body is working harder than it should to deal with fuel it can't use efficiently anymore. So instead of energy, you get exhaustion. Here's where the common approach fails. People fight the fatigue. They add caffeine, energy drinks, pre-workout, sugar. They turn the music up so they don't hear the alarm. And the body says, okay, I'll handle it. Which leads to another quiet signal, constant hunger. Not real hunger. Not, I skipped a meal, hunger. This is the kind where you eat, and an hour later you're standing in front of the fridge again, confused. You're not weak. You're not undisciplined. Your body is asking for fuel because it's not accessing what's already there. So it pulls another lever. Cravings increase. Snacking increases. The cycle continues. Most people don't realize these cravings aren't a character flaw. They're a compensation. Then comes thirst. And this one fools almost everyone. Your mouth feels dry. You're constantly sipping water. You might even feel proud of how hydrated you are. But the thirst doesn't really go away. Your body is trying to dilute something it can't manage efficiently, so it asks for more fluids. And when thirst goes up, bathroom trips usually follow. Especially at night. You wake up thinking, I just drank water before bed. Or, this must be normal. Again, another alarm with a convenient excuse. Then there's blurry vision. Not all the time. Not dramatic. Just moments where things don't look as sharp. You blink, rub your eyes, blame screens. But vision is sensitive. Small changes show up there early. It's like a warning light flickering. Not enough to panic, but enough to notice. Your body keeps adjusting behind the scenes, doing everything it can to maintain balance. Another quiet signal is slow healing. A small cut that takes longer than you remember. A scratch that lingers. Nothing urgent. So you shrug and move on. Then come frequent minor infections or irritation, skin gums, small stuff. Not serious. Just annoying. And because they're annoying, not alarming, people ignore them. Here's one that surprises people: tingling or numbness, especially in hands or feet. You blame posture, shoes, sleeping wrong. But nerves are incredibly sensitive. They feel stress early. And when nerves start whispering, it's worth listening. Now pause with me for a second. None of this means you have anything. This is not about diagnosis. This is about awareness. Smoke alarms don't mean your house is gone. They mean you still have time. And this is where most people go wrong. They think the solution has to be extreme. Total diet overhaul. Punishing workouts. All or nothing thinking. That's like smashing walls instead of opening a window. Your body doesn't need punishment. It needs cooperation. Simple things matter more here. Eating meals that don't spike then crash your energy. Moving a little after eating, nothing fancy, just walking. Sleeping at consistent times. Reducing constant grazing. Small actions done consistently, quiet alarms better than intense efforts done briefly. And here's the part no one tells you: your body isn't broken. It's adaptive. Every symptom you've heard today is your body trying to protect you with the tools it has. So instead of fighting it, what happens if you listen? Because once you understand the alarm system, everything starts making sense. The tiredness, the hunger, the thirst, the little signals you brushed off, they weren't random, they were messages. And the earlier you listen, the easier everything becomes. So I'll leave you with this question, not to scare you, but to challenge what you've been taught. If your body has been quietly pulling the smoke alarm for years, what changes when you stop silencing it? And finally ask what it's trying to tell you.